Hi everyone and welcome to another episode of FOOTYplus, powered by the Adelaide Crows. I'm Amos Gill and we're here at the home of the Adelaide Football Club amidst an RAA Junior Footy Clinic to bring you another episode of all things South Australian sport. Join in. Marinoff. Race out. That's pretty good. Coming up on this episode, one of Adelaide United's favourite sons returns to SA.
Whenever Coopers has been packed, that's been some of the best highlights of my career.
And Jenkins speaks about the impact social media can have on elite athletes.
Whether I play really well or really poorly, I still see negative tweets, and I think that's just part of the business.
The mighty Mallee Park Peckers are relatively young for a footy club, founded back in 1980. But this little team from Port Lincoln has already built an incredible record of producing outstanding Indigenous footballers. In a rare interview, former Mallee Park star and Crows cult figure Graham Stiffy Johncock tells us why, thanks to Harcourts.
About 7 hours drive from Adelaide, tucked away in the heart of Port Lincoln, is an ordinary looking football club producing extraordinary players.
I don't know, a lot of people say we're putting something in the water or something like that.
From Byron Pickett to the Burgoyne brothers, Eddie Betts, Lindsay Thomas, Daniel Wells and John Cock. The list goes on.
You know, the early days it was like Peter Burgoyne and Byron Pickett. They sort of set the standard for a lot of our youth that were coming through at the time, and that next crew through, like myself and Sean Burgoyne, who's still running amok in the AFL. There's a few players that's come out of there, so it's a pretty unique club. I guess you know, coming from a small country town, to have that many players, AFL players, come out of one team is pretty special.
John Cock now coaches Mallee Park and hopes it won't be too long before the next Pecker flies the nest for the AFL.
We've had a bit of a dry spell at the moment, but we've got a couple of juniors that are coming through, so hopefully they can continue on the right path, and who knows. Despite
being raised in Port Adelaide territory, Graham was a Crows fan as a kid. In the year 2000, he was drafted by Adelaide and he went on to play 227 matches before handing over his number 18 jumper to his second cousin and fellow Mallee Park product, Eddie Betts.
Awesome, you know, we have a good relationship, second cousins like you said. You know, his grandfather and my grandfather were, you know, legends over in the Far West Footy League. You know, they've won multiple medals each, and you know, it's just fantastic to see him out here. I remember the day that I retired, and I knew he was coming to Adelaide. I said, you know, you're number 19 at Carlton. Obviously number 19 here is the 19th man, and we don't have that Guernsey, but the next one is number 18, so I'd rather take it on, and thankfully he did, because he's doing it proud.
Hi everyone, I'm Josh Jenkins. Thanks to our proud partner Booper, I'm here to get to know some South Australian junior footballers. Alright, I'm here with Jack.
Yeah.
Jack, how old are you?
11.
11. Jack, what do you love most about playing footy?
Like winning with your team and celebrating after.
Yeah, like it. What position do you like playing?
Forward flank.
Forward flank, like that. Now, I'm a bit worried about this one, but which AFL team do you support?
Adelaide Crows.
Oh, Adelaide Crows. Beautiful. What's your favourite thing to do with your family?
Go to the Adelaide Crows games.
I like that one. How do you stay fit and healthy?
Play football.
Footy. Any other sports?
Cricket.
Thanks for having a chat with me. And on behalf of the Adelaide Footy Club and Booper, I want to present you with a signed footy.
Thank you.
What do you say we go and have a kick?
Okay.
Let's do it.
One of the enduring memories of Adelaide United's 2016 championship campaign is Craig Goodwin tearing up and down the left wing, causing havoc for opposition defences. Well, after a 2-year spell in the Netherlands, the born and bred South Aussie is back home, on a mission to win titles with the Reds and get his spot with the Socceroos back. Goodwin looms as one of the recruits of the season. This chat is brought to you by Flight Centre.
Lukt het naar de standaardsituatie voor Sparta.
It was goals like this
Hij doet het!
that led to chants like this. Goodwin's on fire, your defence is terrified. Craig Goodwin clearly established himself as a firm favourite with his 6 goals and 6 assists in 2 years with Sparta Rotterdam.
I've played in front of some really good crowds, and you can see the passion from those European countries is perhaps something a lot more fanatic.
But it was the lure of playing in front of Adelaide's own passionate fans that helped the winger resist overtures from Perth Glory and Melbourne City and return to his hometown.
I'm hoping that the Red Army and the rest of the Adelaide fans can come out and support us in big numbers, because whenever Cooper's has been packed, that's been some of the best highlights of my career. Goodwin
left Adelaide after winning United's Club Champion Award in its title-winning 2016 season. But after establishing himself in the Sparta Rotterdam team, he fell out of favour under new manager Dick Advocaat. It cost him his place in the Australian World Cup squad.
The last 6 months I had a bit of a troubled time over there, and I wasn't enjoying it.
But he has no regrets.
I've matured as a player, and I've picked up certain things. I think that the pace of the game is quicker over there, and you have to think a lot quicker too.
Goodwin says he's excited to work with United's second-year coach Marco Kurtz. Apart from winning silverware with United, his main aim is to regain his spot in the national squad.
That's definitely my aspirations. I kind of set my sights, and I'm hopeful on the Asian Cup, but I know to get anywhere near that, I'm going to have to be doing exceptionally well with Adelaide, and doing well for the team and doing my part and scoring goals and getting assists and that sort of thing.
The A-League season kicks off on Friday, October 19, with Adelaide United hosting Sydney FC.
And in more good news for Adelaide United fans, the club has signed another international recruit for next season. Danish forward Ken Ilso is the latest addition to the squad, providing strike power up forward after prolific stints with clubs throughout Europe and Malaysia. When it comes to exercise, there's a lot of information out there on how to keep fit and healthy, most of it BS. But if you're an average Joe like me, it's hard to know where to start. And I'll admit, I get a little jealous that AFL players have their own high-performance team that helps them get into peak physical condition. So, we've decided to sit down with Crow's physical performance coach, Nathan Heaney, to bust some exercise myths for us. Thanks to Thomas Farms.
Post-training soreness is a result of inconsistent training, infrequent training, or doing something you're not accustomed to. There is no single best way to lose weight. Cardio is a really effective strategy to improve physiological qualities, such as improving your aerobic fitness or cardiovascular fitness. It also enables you to expend energy. Toning your abdominals isn't achieved through crunches. It is actually achieved through being attentive to your diet and exercise in an attempt to reduce your body fat. Contrary to popular belief, you don't need to stretch before a workout. However, if you're in an occupation that requires you to sit for prolonged periods, I would recommend stretching before you start a session. The exact breakdown will vary between individuals. However, you need to be attentive with both when you're looking at trying to improve your body composition or improve your general health and well-being. Strength training won't make you bulk up, as you can vary the program to accommodate each individual's needs. For example, if you want to put on muscle mass, you'd simply follow a program that includes higher volume and higher repetition ranges.
If you're in the market for a new car, check out this offer. Our major partner, Toyota, are offering all Crows members a $500 accessory voucher when you buy a new Toyota vehicle. Visit any Toyota dealer with your Crows membership card to claim this fantastic offer. Social media has dramatically changed the world in which we live, and it's the ugly side of this landscape that can prove troublesome for young athletes who often find themselves on the receiving end of some very personal attacks and unsavoury comments. We sat down with the media savvy Josh Jenkins to find out how elite footballers navigate this tricky environment.
Josh Jenkins loves Twitter.
For me, social media is my go-to for anything that's newsworthy, sports scores, sports updates, world current affairs. I love using Twitter, avid user, love being able to interact with people, with fans, and all those kinds of things. I think it's so unique that more and more players are learning that, you know, hey, you can converse with people and you can have your own opinion, and gives you an ability to speak your mind.
But I think the real opportunity is to build a personal brand, and that's what we see a lot of athletes doing in Australia, but also overseas, around utilising social media to build a personal brand, to connect with athletes, so that in the future they can then commercialise those platforms as well.
But there's a dark side. As Josh discovered in the wake of last year's grand final loss, Twitter can be a toxic place. He copped a torrent of abuse and it forced him to take a break from social media.
Took a bit of a break after the grand final. I knew what was going to be there. I didn't need to go on there to understand what was there. There's a lot of people in my mind on Twitter in particular who just want to sling mud. They don't really have a rhyme or a reason. They just like to sling mud and see whether they can get a bite, get a response from people. So whether I play really, really well or really, really poorly, I still see negative tweets, and I think that's just part of the business. The only ones that really give me grief or I don't agree with when people are anonymous. I think it would go a long way to solving a lot of online bullying or online abuse of ensuring that everyone is identified.
The mute button is your friend. So the opportunity to mute words or to even mute accounts means that you can limit that type of abuse. But I think my number one tip would be ignore. Because the haters and the trolls out there, they want a response. So if you don't give them the response and you just ignore it, they'll eventually go away.
Often the people who write that kind of stuff have very, very few followers and a very small platform. So by engaging with them, all you're doing is really giving them oxygen, and that's what they're looking for.
It's an attitude that's helped Josh rise above the haters, keep things in perspective and continue to focus on what he does best.
The more you can understand to just let it go and let it try and wash over you, which can be really difficult, trust me. But if you can let it wash over you and not let it affect you too much, if it does, you need to step away from it. But if you can ensure it doesn't affect you too much, then that's probably the best way and only way to go about it.
Last week on the Crows' social media accounts, we saw Brodie Smith interrupting teammate Rory Laird mid-interview with a huge kiss. Now, there's nothing like celebrating a win with a good old-fashioned smooch, which made me think of some other famous AFL kisses. It was just a few weeks ago that Daniel Rioli gave Reece Conker a little peck after he broke his ankle during his 100th game. Isn't that sweet? Luke Hodge got up close and personal with former teammate Buddy Franklin during the 2014 Grand Final. And back in '93, Alan Djakovic showed some affection to his brother Glenn after booting his 6th goal of the match. Speaking of brotherly love, this week on The Crows Show, Jake Kelly chats about the hype surrounding his younger brother Will, who is touted as a potential draft pick in 2018.
He's a bit taller than me, he's about 6'5", 6'6", plays forward and back, so hopefully he strings a few good games together in the second half of the year and he can put his hand up to be drafted. The
Crows Show airs on Channel 7 tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. with Mark Bickley and Alana Smith. We hope you've enjoyed the show. A massive thank you to the RAA for letting us join in on this footy clinic. Keep an eye out for us in the weeks ahead on Channel 7 and 7+. Bye for now.